am Michelle with two L's, and I am one half of Forcefly Entertainment. Today I'm here to give you my review, my thoughts for the new Marvel movie, Fantastic Four, The First Steps, starring Vanessa Kirby, Pedro Pascal, Joseph Quinn, Julie Gardner. The list goes on and on. It's got a pretty good cast. But before we get into this review, I want to go ahead and say, if you are not yet subscribed, and many of you are not, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Also give this video a thumbs up and ring the notification bell. That way you're notified every time we release a new video. Okay, let's get into this review of Fantastic Four, First Steps. The way I do our reviews, I will give you my initial thoughts, what I liked, what I didn't like, and I will rate the film. What were my, and first off, I'm going to start with this. This is the first Marvel film I've been to see in theaters. Well, I guess last year with Deadpool and Wolverine, but I mean, that's kind of its own thing. But besides that, I just haven't seen a lot of Marvel movies. For me personally, I know they've got a ravaged fan base that loves them and is going to hate what I'm about to say. It is what it is. For me personally, it has just become more of the same. We'd gone to the point where we'd seen all these different superheroes. We were getting basically the same movie. It was an origin story. And it just they kind of felt like they came out off an assembly line. That it just, the same type humor, the same story, it just with different characters. And I just kind of got tired of it, and I haven't really wanted to watch. But what grabbed me with Fantastic Four was the visuals, and it looked different. It looked unique, set in a different world, different time period. And that kind of grabbed me. And then people were saying, oh, well, this is better than Superman. And you guys know, me and Natalie, we really like Superman. Let me give you that thought before I move into initial thoughts. Is this better than Superman? For me, no, it's not. I enjoyed Superman a lot more than this film, and I'll get into reasons why as we get going. But what were my initial thoughts of this film? My initial thoughts were, it was okay. It was all right. It was decent. That was kind of my initial thoughts. So let's move into what I liked about this film. I liked the visuals. I like the setting. It is kind of 1960 futuristic. It feels kind of like the Jetsons, but in like the 1960s. I really appreciated that whole aesthetic, 1960s city, futuristic. It was a really cool look. I believe that this design, set design, and costume design, even though they looked a little smurfy in their blue suits, but everything, what they wore, again, the costumes, the visuals, the sets, I thought were top notch. They always grab my attention of how rich they looked. I mean that in a very positive way. So aces to everyone who worked on that. You guys did a fantastic job. It grabbed me all throughout this film. And it really kind of anchored the film for me because I get worn out if there's just so much CGI. And of course, there's, a decent amount in this film. There had to be for the story that's being told. But say even when they're in their spaceship, like everything in the spaceship, you can tell they built out a set spaceship, and it just feels real and it makes things feel real. And I appreciate practical effects. So I really, again, the set design, I thought was fantastic. I thought the cinematography, the visuals, it's very much its own look. And I felt like that was needed in the MCU. It's different, and I appreciate different. So I enjoyed that. All the actors do a good job. Vanessa Kirby does an excellent job. I've really enjoyed her as an actress since I discovered her. I'm sure you discovered her on The Crown, as she played Princess Margaret for 2 years. Fantastic actress. Really, all of them do a good job. Pedro Pascal's fine. Joseph Quinn. But okay, so they do a good job. That's all good. But actors can only do so much. You need a good script. You need a very good script. So let's get into my negatives of this film. And that would be what I'm saying there. That would be the script. This film, the more I think about it, the more flaws that I find with it, and the more I dislike it. Because there's some similarities in this film to Superman. A lot goes on in both. You've got several characters you're trying to learn and get to know. But the more I thought about Superman after I first saw it, the more I liked it and wanted to see it again. And I did. The more I thought about this film, the more I thought about this film, the more I have not liked it, is the way that has gone. And again, that's going to be different for different people. That's why if you're interested, go see a movie for yourself and come to your own conclusion. But without spoiling, and I think I might save I might just wait for spoilers for Monday on our live stream, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope to see you there. But there's just so much with the story that, like, the whole, okay, in fact, I will say this. I think the first act of this movie is very good, or at least good. And it's more towards the back half of the second act and the third act that I struggled with this film, because they're dealing with this villain Galactus that is supposed to be, just so horrific and terrible, and you're supposed to wonder how on earth can these four geniuses, and they're supposed to be geniuses, how can they defeat this Galactus? And let's just say it is less than satisfying of the multiple things that these geniuses came up with of how they're going to take out Galactus. The only way it would actually happen is if Galactus is a total moron. And maybe in the comics, Galactus is a moron. I don't know, but they definitely made me feel like he was a moron if this plan's going to have a chance to make it. And then I think there's a decision made with a certain character and the amount of power that this character might display in this film, that some people will be bothered by. It didn't really bother me. Is whatever in this film. But it really was that. It was the plot. And then again, kind of compare and contrast. It's hard not to. They both have come out. And you can like them both. You can hate them both. You can think they're both okay. But it stands out on my mind because I have seen Superman multiple times now. Both of them do have a romance. Both of these films. I find the Superman romance 1,000 times more compelling. I bought the chemistry of the two actors so much. You could feel it. You just feel chemistry, and you could feel their chemistry, where I feel like with Vanessa Kirby and Pedro Pascal, you're telling me they're married. You're telling me they love each other, but I don't really feel it. And I kind of feel like that's a problem in general. It's like, did they have all these actors come read together and see who's got the most chemistry with one another? Because it doesn't really feel that way. Again, you've got really excellent actors. It's just, I wasn't feeling that would be the key word here with me and my negatives. I feel like I was like, oh, the visuals are cool. Oh, this kind of works. But inwardly, I wasn't feeling joy. I wasn't feeling like I was having fun. I was just observing this plot take place with characters that I may or may not care that much about. Like, sure, you root for him to win, but it's not like you feel. I felt a lot more emotion even with Superman. And I know people are like, it moves so fast, it undercuts emotion. But I still felt a lot more humanist emotion in that movie compared to this. And that may not bother you. But for me, half of the, a big portion of what makes a movie good is how it makes you feel. And again, this kind of was lacking. There's a scene towards the end where Sue, and I'm not giving anything away, but Sue Storm might give a speech. And though the words she was saying I agreed with, I didn't feel anything. And I think that is a problem with this particular movie. It's some nice visuals. There's some cool some cool effects. But it was lacking for me heart in many ways. And that's not great, because this movie at the core of it is a family. And when you're dealing with a family, there should be heart. You should feel a lot. And for me, at least, I just didn't really connect on an emotional level with this near as much as, say, I did like Superman. So that's kind of my thoughts on that. And again, I can't really go into what the more I thought was ridiculous without spoiling. So I'm just going to save that for a later day. But that's kind of my thoughts about the good, the bad. So what do I rate Fantastic Four First Steps? 5 being the max level of hoots, max level of enjoyment. I'm going to give, and I gave, I believe let's see. I'm going to give this 3 out of 5 hoots. There is some enjoyment to be had. Again, I thought the costumes, the set design, the world that they built, I thought it was very cool, very visually cool to look at. There are some cool scenes in this. I thought in particular, this would be a positive too. There's a scene where they're all in space, the space sequence. There's some parts in that that I thought were really cool with the gravity and the way that the actors were, they were showing that there's no gravity. It was shot really good. It was well done. And I appreciated that. But so 3.5, some level of enjoyment. It's not like, oh man, I hate this film. I don't hate this film. And it is different than some of the other Marvel films, and I appreciate that about it. For me, it just lacked that real emotional connection. For me personally, again, I know others won't feel that way, but these are my thoughts, and that is how I felt about it. So 3 out of 5 for Fantastic Four, The First Steps. What did you guys think of this film? Are you like me and you're just going to sit it out? This is the first Marvel film I've seen in a year. And before that, it'd been probably a year or so as well. Share your thoughts. But did you like Superman more? Did you like this more? There's no right or wrong. It's how it made you feel and what you thought. Share your thoughts below. And if you have not yet, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Also give this video a thumbs up. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, remember to be a force of light. All right. Bye, guys.